Imagine a ship perfectly intact, sails calmly into view, but utterly deserted. No trace of its crew, no signs of struggle, just an abandoned vessel drifting silently across the vast ocean. This isn't a ghost story. It's the bewildering reality of the Mary Celeste, a mystery that has baffled experts and captivated imaginations for over 150 years. What happened to the 10 souls aboard that brigantine? And why did they simply vanish into thin air? To truly understand the unnerving enigma of the Mary Celeste, we need to go back to its origins. She was built in 1861 in Spencer's Island, Nova Scotia, initially named the Amazon. A sturdy, reliable brigantine, she had a somewhat troubled early life, experiencing several minor misfortunes, including collisions and crew illnesses. But nothing suggested the profound, unsettling mystery that awaited her. By 1868, after a refit, she was sold to American owners and renamed the Mary Celeste. Her new captain, Benjamin Briggs, was a highly respected and experienced seaman, known for his prudence and sobriety. He was a family man, and when the ship departed New York City on November 7, 1872, bound for Genoa, Italy, with a cargo of industrial alcohol, his wife, Sarah, and their 2-year-old daughter, Sophia, were with him. Also aboard were his first mate, Albert Richardson, second mate, Andrew Gilling, steward, Edward Head, and 4 German sailors. 10 souls in total, all embarking on what should have been a routine, profitable voyage across the Atlantic. They had provisions for 6 months, a captain renowned for his caution, and a ship deemed sound. What could possibly go wrong? As they sailed out of New York Harbor, no one could have predicted that this journey would etch the Mary Celeste into the annals of maritime legend, not for her achievements, but for her inexplicable abandonment. The initial days of the voyage were uneventful, but it wasn't long before the Mary Celeste's path crossed with another vessel, the Dei Gratia, also sailing from New York to Genoa. On December 5, 1872, nearly a month after the Mary Celeste set sail, the Dei Gratia's first mate, John Johnson, spotted a ship behaving strangely, about 600 miles off the coast of the Azores. It was moving erratically, its sails set in a rather disorganized fashion. As the Dei Gratia drew closer, Captain David Morehouse, a personal friend of Benjamin Briggs, grew concerned. Something was clearly amiss. He hailed the ship, but there was no response. A boarding party was dispatched. What they found would send shivers down the spine of even the most hardened sailor. The Mary Celeste was deserted, utterly, completely empty. The ship itself was in remarkably good condition. No distress signal had been flown. The lifeboat was missing, but critically, there were no signs of a struggle or violence. The cargo of 1,701 barrels of denatured alcohol was largely intact, though 9 barrels were empty. Personal belongings of the crew, including Captain Briggs's sword, his sextant, and his chronometer, were gone, suggesting a planned departure. Yet his navigation instruments and ship's papers were still in his cabin. The ship's logbook, last entry dated November 25th, indicated nothing unusual. A single page from the logbook was missing. The galley was neat. A sewing machine with a partly made garment lay abandoned. The crew's pipes were left on their bunks. The pump was detached, suggesting an attempt to deal with water, but there was no significant flooding. Water was found in the hold, but not enough to cause panic or mandate abandonment. It was as if everyone had simply stepped off into thin air. This wasn't a wreck, it was an enigma. A perfectly seaworthy vessel, drifting silently, a macabre snapshot of a life abruptly interrupted. The discovery of the Mary Celeste instantly sparked an Admiralty court investigation in Gibraltar, where the Dei Gratia brought the abandoned brigantine. The court was deeply suspicious, initially suspecting foul play. Were the crew of the Dei Gratia involved? Had Captain Morehouse and his crew murdered the Mary Celeste's company for salvage money? The Attorney General, Frederick Solly Flood, was convinced he would uncover a conspiracy. He closely examined Captain Morehouse and his men, searching for inconsistencies, for any hint of guilt. Bodies were missing, and the circumstances were just too strange. But after a thorough, weeks-long inquiry, no evidence of foul play could be found. The Dei Gratia crew eventually received a reduced salvage award, a fraction of the ship's value, signaling lingering doubt but no definitive proof of wrongdoing. With no answers from the investigation, theories began to proliferate, each more fantastic than the last. Were pirates responsible? A mutiny? Sea monsters? A giant squid? Some speculated about an insurance fraud scheme, yet Captain Briggs's sterling reputation made this highly improbable, and the ship itself was barely insured. One popular theory centered on the cargo, the alcohol. Had the fumes built up, causing an explosion that forced the crew to abandon ship in the lifeboat, only for the explosion to not critically damage the ship? But there were no signs of fire or scorching. Perhaps a water spout, a rare and violent oceanic phenomenon, had struck the ship, momentarily dislodging the crew's sense of security and causing them to abandon ship in a panic, believing it was sinking, only for the Mary Celeste to right herself? Or a rogue wave, a sudden squall capable of sweeping people overboard? Whatever happened, the most compelling evidence suggested a rapid but orderly departure, something that caused the crew to leave quickly, but without any immediate threat to the ship itself. It was as if they had stepped into the lifeboat with the intention of returning, but they never did. To this day, the complete truth of the Mary Celeste remains one of the ocean's most enduring and chilling mysteries. The sea, vast and unforgiving, often claims its secrets permanently. The psychological impact of such an unknown event, of an entire crew simply vanishing from a sound vessel, has resonated through generations. It speaks to our primal fears of the deep, of the unseen forces that can snatch lives away without a trace. Countless books, articles, and even films have tried to unravel the puzzle, but none have provided a conclusive answer. The Mary Celeste wasn't claimed by a raging storm or shattered against rocks. She was found practically pristine, a ghost ship carrying an unspoken horror. What caused Captain Briggs, his family, and his experienced crew to abandon their perfectly good ship in the middle of the Atlantic, their fate sealed by a decision made in a moment of terror or grave misjudgment? We will likely never know. The Mary Celeste continues to drift through our collective consciousness, a silent sentinel of the inexplicable, a stark reminder that some questions have no answers, only the echoing silence of the open sea. If you want to explore another such maritime enigma, check out my next video where we delve into the disappearance of the SS Cyclops.